What if the money you save for your future quietly cost you the life you were supposed to enjoy? And what if the money you spent to enjoy life today became the reason your future feels trapped? Alex is 26. He has a stable job, a decent income, and one question he cannot stop thinking about. Should I save more for the future or enjoy life while I'm still young? Because every dollar can only go one place. It can become security. It can become freedom. It can become a memory. Or it can disappear into something Alex barely remembers buying. This is not a story about being cheap. And it is not a story about spending recklessly. It is about the hidden cost of choosing one life over another. So before Alex says yes to the trip, before he skips another dinner, before he turns saving into fear or spending into escape, he has to answer one question. What is money actually for? Alex gets paid every 2 weeks, and every time the paycheck arrives, he feels the same brief relief. For a few seconds, life feels under control. Then the calculations begin. Rent, groceries, bills, student loans, savings, investments, emergency fund, retirement. By the time Alex finishes moving money around, the paycheck is almost gone. Not because Alex is broke, but because every dollar already has a job. And somehow, even when he is doing the responsible thing, it still feels like he is falling behind. Inside Alex's mind, there are two voices. The first voice says, save more, invest more, be disciplined. Your future self will thank you. The second voice says, you are 26, your body is healthy, your friends are free, your parents are still here. Your life is happening now. Both voices sound reasonable. And that is what makes the decision so difficult. Alex is not choosing between wisdom and stupidity. He is choosing between two different versions of regret. One afternoon, Alex gets a message from his best friend, Ryan. A group of friends is planning a trip to Colorado. 4 days, mountains, road trips, late-night conversations. Estimated cost, $900. Alex wants to go immediately. Then he opens his spreadsheet. $900 could become part of his emergency fund. It could reduce debt. It could be invested. It could move him one small step closer to financial freedom. Suddenly, the trip is no longer just a trip. It becomes a test of what kind of person Alex believes he should be. In the first version of the story, Alex says no. He tells Ryan he needs to save money. Ryan understands. No one pressures him. And financially, the decision looks correct. Alex keeps the $900. He transfers it into savings. The number in his account grows. For a moment, Alex feels proud. He has chosen discipline over impulse, but not every correct decision feels good after it is made. The trip happens without him. Alex sees the photos. His friends hiking at sunrise, laughing around a fire, taking blurry pictures at a gas station, eating cheap food in a small mountain town. None of it looks luxurious, but it looks alive. Alex tells himself he made the responsible choice. And maybe he did. But responsibility does not erase the feeling of being absent from a memory that mattered. To be fair, $900 is not meaningless. If Alex invested that money at an average annual return of 7% for 30 years, it could grow to around $6,800. That is real money, enough to pay several months of bills, enough to help future Alex breathe more easily. This is the power of saving. Money you do not spend today can become protection, freedom, and opportunity later. But there is another side to the equation. Future money has value, but so does present life. Over the next year, Alex becomes even more disciplined. He skips trips, avoids restaurants, declines concerts, buys only necessities. His savings rate improves. His investment account grows, but his life begins to shrink. At first, he feels proud of every dollar saved. Then saving becomes less like a tool and more like a rule. He starts measuring every decision only by what it costs. A dinner becomes $25 lost. A weekend trip becomes $500 not invested. A gift becomes a delay in reaching a goal. Alex is not wasting money, but he may be wasting something harder to earn back: aliveness. Alex keeps saying he is doing this for his future self, but he begins to wonder, who exactly is that future self? Will future Alex be grateful for the extra money? Probably. But will future Alex also wish he had said yes to more moments when he was young, healthy, and surrounded by people he loved? Also probably. A future worth saving for should not require destroying the present completely. Otherwise, Alex is not building freedom. He is just postponing life. In the second version of the story, Alex chooses the opposite path. He says yes to the Colorado trip, then yes to dinners, yes to concerts, yes to weekend getaways, yes to new clothes, yes to experiences. At first, life feels bigger. He has stories to tell, photos to post, memories with friends. He feels young, connected, and free. And after years of being careful, spending feels like proof that he is finally living. The problem is that enjoyment adapts quickly. A special dinner becomes a weekly habit. A weekend trip becomes normal. Buying something nice becomes the easiest way to fix a bad day. None of these choices seems extreme on its own, but together they create lifestyle creep. Alex does not feel reckless. He feels normal. And that is what makes the danger easy to miss. Financial damage often does not begin with one dramatic mistake. It begins with repeated spending that never feels serious enough to question. At first, Alex pays everything from checking. Then one month is a little tight, so he uses his credit card. He tells himself he will pay it off next paycheck. But next paycheck already has plans. Rent, bills, another event, another trip. The balance does not explode overnight. It grows quietly. $200, $700, $1,500, $3,000. The same life that once felt free now requires future income to pay for past enjoyment. A $3,000 credit card balance at 22% interest is not just a number. It is a claim on Alex's future. If Alex only makes small payments, he may pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars in interest over time. That means some of his future paychecks will not buy new experiences. They will pay for old ones. This is the hidden cost of borrowed fun. The moment passes. The payment stays. Eventually, even the fun stops feeling free. Alex sits at dinner with his friends, but part of his mind is calculating the bill. He smiles in photos, but worries about his card balance. He books another trip, but feels a knot in his stomach. The tragedy is not that Alex enjoyed life. Enjoying life was never the problem. The problem is that he enjoyed life in a way that made tomorrow feel heavier. Pleasure is not wrong, but pleasure bought with anxiety becomes less pleasurable every time. Then life interrupts. Alex's car breaks down. Repair cost, $1,200. If Alex had an emergency fund, this would be frustrating. But because he spent most of his extra income, it becomes a crisis. He uses the credit card again. Not for fun this time, for survival. This is when Alex understands the difference between being able to afford a lifestyle and being able to survive it. After seeing both extremes, Alex realizes he has been asking the wrong question. The question is not, should I save money or enjoy life? The better question is, what is this money actually buying? Some spending buys connection. Some spending buys learning. Some spending buys memories. But some spending only buys distraction, status, convenience, or temporary relief from stress. The goal is not to stop spending. The goal is to stop spending blindly. Alex creates 4 buckets for his money. Security, freedom, joy, growth. Security means emergency savings, insurance, and paying bills on time. Freedom means investing, reducing debt, and building future options. Joy means experiences, relationships, and the things that make life feel worth living. Growth means skills, health, education, and anything that increases Alex's capacity over time. This changes everything. Instead of asking whether spending is good or bad, Alex asks which bucket it serves. Alex sets a few non-negotiable rules. First, build and protect an emergency fund. Second, invest automatically before lifestyle spending begins. Third, never carry high-interest debt for non-essential purchases. Fourth, create a monthly joy budget that can be spent without guilt. This is important, because guilt-free spending only works when responsible saving is already happening. And disciplined saving only lasts when life still has room for joy. Alex creates a joy budget of $250 per month. This money is not a mistake. It is not weakness. It is not a failure of discipline. It is planned. He can use it for dinner with friends, a concert ticket, a weekend activity, or save it for a larger trip. The key is that joy now has a place in the plan. When enjoyment is planned, it no longer has to sneak in through guilt, impulse, or credit card debt. A few months later, Ryan mentions another trip. This time, Alex does not react with fear or impulse. He checks his system. Emergency fund, protected. Investments, automatic. Credit card, paid off. Trip fund, $600. The trip will cost $900. Instead of saying yes blindly or no automatically, Alex makes a decision. He asks whether this experience is worth temporarily slowing another goal. And this time, the answer is yes. Alex does not put the trip on a credit card. He uses the $600 already saved. Then he reduces other optional spending for the month. He also takes one small freelance project to cover the remaining $300. The trip still costs money, but it no longer creates financial damage. This is the difference between intentional spending and impulsive spending. Intentional spending may slow a goal. Impulsive spending often breaks one. On the trip, Alex is present. He is not calculating every meal. He is not worried about interest. He is not secretly judging himself for being irresponsible. He watches the sunrise with his friends, laughs in the car, talks late into the night. The experience is not valuable because it was expensive. It is valuable because it was chosen. For once, Alex is not escaping his financial plan. He is living inside it. Alex learns that not all enjoyment has the same value. Some spending still feels meaningful weeks or years later. A trip with close friends. The same life that once felt free now requires future income to pay for past enjoyment. A visit to family, a class that builds confidence, a dinner that strengthens a relationship, but other spending fades almost immediately. A status purchase, a stress purchase, a convenience that becomes a habit, a subscription he barely uses. The question is not whether something is fun. The question is whether it still feels worth it after the moment has passed. At the end of each month, Alex reviews his spending. Not with shame, with curiosity. Which purchases were worth it? Which ones disappeared without adding much to his life? Which expenses protected his future? Which ones only numbed stress for a few hours? This review becomes one of Alex's most powerful habits. Because the goal is not perfect spending. The goal is learning what kind of spending actually makes life better. Alex's life does not become luxurious. He still budgets. He still says no sometimes. He still cannot afford everything he wants. But something important changes. He no longer feels trapped between responsibility and happiness. He has savings. He has investments. He has experiences. He has fewer financial emergencies. And he has less guilt. Maybe being rich is not being able to buy everything. Maybe it is being able to spend on what matters without fear and say no to what does not without resentment. Saving everything has a cost. You may protect your future while slowly disconnecting from your present. Spending everything also has a cost. You may enjoy today while making tomorrow harder to survive. The answer is not to worship the future, and it is not to escape into the present. The answer is to make your money serve both. Security, freedom, joy, growth. Every choice has a cost, but when you choose intentionally, the cost becomes something you understand, not something you regret. If you had to choose, would you save more for the future or spend more to enjoy life now? Share your answer in the comments.